What's going on YouTube? So in this YouTube video, I'm going to show you how to block the main query from running. So I'm using this plugin called Query Monitor, and what this allows me to do is to see all the query that is running per page. So like if we look at the home page, we look at all the queries that are running, we have this main query running. Cool thing I like about this plugin is that it tells me the line and where to execute at, okay? So the line that is executing the actual database query is on this file class WP query on line 28021. All right, let's go to this file. Let's go to the line. That's this query. Okay. This is to block that. This post cannot be null. All right. This post is being set right here. So let's go ahead and attach to this filter. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So let me go a little bit back. Okay. So what would happen is that this post is getting set to a null value, right? And here we actually could filter that value to something else. If this post is set to null, it actually would go through the whole option of actually executing the queries to fetch the data. However, if we set it to something else that is not null, then it will not run the query. Okay. So now, kind of did the backstory. Now let's actually do the whole add the filter. All right. Post pre-filter, right one. So we're leaving posts, the first argument, as the multi-type because it could be either a null or an array. Now the second one is WP query because that is what we're passing as the second argument. And then one thing to always remember is that if your callback function is receiving more than one argument, you always need to pass the execution level or the execution order, which default is 10, and the number of arguments going to receive, which is going to be 2. So one thing we want to make sure is that we're only modifying the main query. To make sure that this main query is the function that we determine that is the main query. Second thing, we only want to do this on the home page. So to do that, if I type correctly, okay. Now that would be only on the home page. So the only downside with this is that if you were on WP admin, this will still execute because it would be the main query and it would be the quote unquote home page of the admin page. So to make sure that this does not execute on the admin, there, okay. Now, so if it does not meet this if condition, we want to pass whatever the value of post is. So return that value. And then here we return an empty array, okay? And what this allows us to do, refresh this page. So as you can see that we're no longer running that main query, okay? However, so this is a conditional step. So if you're just doing this just for the home page, you are done at this point. But this is going a little step further. So some people, they have pagination on their sites. So if they try to go to page 6 with this whole setup, you get a 404 page, all right? So what this is going to be is actually fixing that 404 page. So by the way, the reason why you get a 404 page is because in here, when it checks the results, if the post is empty, if there is a post and your post is empty, it's going to return 404. So the fact that the post is empty, it fails this filter. Because it fails this filter, it goes, and it is a page, so it skips this check. It will set it as a 404. Okay. Also, if you follow the same logic, so this is actually for the home page. If you follow the same logic, it will fail this filter. However, since it is not a page, it would actually just return 200 no matter what. Okay. So what we're going to do is actually fix it where it would, when it gets to here, it will not return a 404. Okay. Basically, so that if you do page 6, a pagination, it will not return 404. So there's 2 ways of doing that. One, we can attach it to here. We could do a add filter in here and have it return true. Sorry. We could do that. That will solve it. Another thing, what most commonly what you guys would do is this right here. So why here? Hold on, I do have to explain a lot about this right here. Explanation time's coming up in a little bit. 2 seconds or more than 2 seconds to get everything all set up. A few more seconds to get everything all set up. Okay, go, whatever. That's good enough. That's just temporary stuff. This is actually not official. Okay, so what is this I'm just doing right here? So first of all, let's explain this action pre-get post, okay? So inside of the same method that we're looking at on the query, if you go to the head of it, and this gigantic file, which I do not feel like searching the whole file, try to go to it. Actually, just go to the filter I want to go to, the action I want to go to. So this is towards the head. So what this allows us to do is modify the main query before it actually goes to that whole list. Granted, the post value will always get overrated, as I showed you in the with the filter. It's by default set to no. What this allows us to do is do some manipulation of the whatever query wants to run first before it actually gets to the part of actually executing the query. So in this situation, since we're running a do not query the database for anything, for those that have already know what the pagination they have for the site, here you can set your pagination rules. Okay. Here you can do the found post max number of pages, and thinking here you could do a posts per page. So if you wanted to do, you could do query bars posts per page is equal to whatever value you want it to be. Or you could say, hey, you know what? Query bars page. You can change what page it fetch, whatever. So here you can say this is the number of posts we have. This is the max number of page for the pagination. Here you can say per page fetch 100 posts, and they always fetch page 1 or whatever. Or you could do something like, I don't know, some arbitrary thing. Okay, you could play around with this and do what you want to do. But basically, most likely, if you have a pagination, you're most likely we need to do this right here. And always remember to put the semicolon at the end of your function calls. Right? In my situation, I don't have that many pages. I do not want to mess up with my pagination, so I'm just gonna remove all of this other stuff. All right. So here, even though it's page 6, it will still not turn a 404. If I switch this to false, 404. Okay. And in my situation, since everything is just going to be a one page, and I do not want to do anything more complex, as my website is an Angular application. This is all I need. Oh crap! And I press the one button to close the tab down. Fun stuff. This back up. And bam. Sorry about that. That was a big mistake of pressing the wrong button. So if you run an Angular application, this is good enough to handle that. And then let me go ahead and log in. But you know, password is always secret, so you guys are not allowed to see my password. And bam, you'll see that it does not run the main query. Okay. If I were to get rid of this line right here, change that back to the default value, refresh it, you'll see the main query gets called. Now there is, for those that are the purest of all purist programmers, we could do it this way, because actually, if I recall, in a future version of PHP, it actually will start turning warning messages if you don't pass the correct number of arguments to your callback functions. Okay, so for those that are using very, very strict PHP, full, and whatever the other one, P query All right. For those are using the purest and most pure of PHP. And this is a filter. Okay, good. Yeah. All right. So in my situation, for the very, very purest of all pure of PHP, forgot the most obvious rule. Yeah. Okay, done. It's a done deal. Hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully you guys learned something new from this video. It's a very quick video, but it's also very good, especially if you have a really big site. It helps shave off seconds off your site. So yeah, hopefully you like it, enjoy it. Until then, catch you next time. Peace.